Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a great week. Today is my 50th birthday. Well, actually by the time you watch this video, it'll be tomorrow. So my actual birthday will have passed. But I'm a strong believer in celebrating birthdays for as long as we can, so I'll still be celebrating tomorrow. I guess God wanted to say hi, huh? So it's my birthday and I had wonderful dreams of eating birthday cake last night, and the day started off with me receiving messages from my friends and family, and the sky opened up and offered my garden some rain, which was wonderful because it was much needed. So I'm feeling really happy, and I wanted to extend that happiness to you and to say a huge thank you. I feel like I don't say it enough, and sometimes maybe I feel like I say too much, but honestly, I don't think you can ever say thank you too much. It's one of those things, gratitude has really helped me live a very happy life, and I really sincerely feel that gratitude. So I want to say thank you for being there with me on this journey. I really appreciate all the kind words of encouragement and messages that I get every week after my videos. It makes me smile each and every week, and yeah, I feel very blessed and thankful that I have been able to connect with you via YouTube. It's a crazy thing. We live in a very big world, but in some ways, social media can make it feel a lot smaller, and it's nice that we can get to connect like this. So I want to say a huge thank you again for connecting with me, either through commenting, or even if you're not, feeling up to sending me a comment, or you don't know how, which is, it took me a long time to figure it out too. That's okay. I feel your energy, and I appreciate the likes and the views, and I'm just so excited. I'm excited about how all of this is going. Really, I have been working pretty hard to make this YouTube thing happen, and I'm pretty new to teaching, so this is still very much a new endeavor for me, and I'm not always sure of myself as I go along. But knowing that I have supportive viewers and subscribers like you really makes it all easier and better for me. So I want to say a huge thank you for that. So anyway, I am just having a good day, and I wanted to share that with you. You'll be seeing this video tomorrow. I'm working on the editing of the video today, and I hope you will enjoy it. If you have any questions or any comments, like I said, I love hearing from you, and I always enjoy connecting with you. So have a wonderful week, and thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. Being that I was born in July, my sun sign is Cancer, and I don't really know if I've been thinking a lot about the sun because my birthday was coming up or what it is, but I've lately been feeling very inspired and motivated to paint the sun, and so I've sort of explored a number of different ways that I can represent the sun, and this week I'm going to be working on a little landscape that's going to include an abstract sun. It's an abstract landscape. I typically prefer to work on abstracts. I'm going to use some colors that are new. I got a new palette a little while ago, and this color, for instance, that I'm applying right now, which is called Periwinkle. I really love it. It's very beautiful. And then the other one, which is a soft lilac, I think. They're colors that are new, and I wanted to see what I could create with them. And so I have chosen my palette ahead of time, which is how I typically prefer to work. And from that point on, once I've started putting my paint down on paper, everything else is going to be, for the most part, very intuitive. And I'm going to let the paint, as it dries on the paper, sort of guide me in my process. I believe I've mentioned before that I often will create more than one painting as I'm working. It just makes it easier because watercolor paper needs time to dry in between layers. And so if I'm working on more than one painting, I can continue to work and not feel hindered by the fact that the paper needs to dry. So I created another painting not too long ago using this turquoise color along with the periwinkle and the lilac, and I really liked it, and so I thought I would give it another try, and that's why I reached for the turquoise. Paintings always look more exciting to me when they have a good amount of contrast. And the colors that I had initially applied were all very light and very muted, and they looked beautiful, but I wanted to bring a little bit more of that deep turquoise into the mix. I think this really helps to, again, create that contrast, and it creates more visual interest. Before the paint dries completely on my paper, I'm going to apply some fine-grained salt to the bottom portion of my painting. I've used this before in other videos that I've made, and I've promised to create other videos showing this, so I'm doing it here only on the bottom so you'll see what textures get created versus the top of the painting where I am not applying the salt. Because the paint on my paper was still pretty wet when I applied the salt, you can see that it created some very distinct texture on my background, and I really like this. But I want to start creating a little bit more contrast, and I'm going to add some of this deep purple on my painting because I think, again, it will go really nicely with this turquoise color that I like. And I also am trying to create a bit of a floral landscape. This is sort of what my imagination is creating in my mind, and I want to try and translate that to my paper. Here I'm using a damp, clean brush just to smooth out the edges of that purple. I like it, but I don't want it to be very, I don't want some strong edges showing. So I'm just smoothing out those edges by blending the paint down using just a clean wet brush. So there's no paint on my brush at this point in time. I'm just blending the colors that are there already. My paper is still wet, and I'm going back in with some more of that purple again to keep deepening that contrast between the light values and the darker values. Here I'm continuing to work over wet paper, and this time I'm going to start adding some green to the bottom portion of my background so that I can brighten up that area a little bit and change the colors. I really love how that green really goes well with that purple that's at the very top. And I also want to keep some of that turquoise, and the fact that I let the paper dry before I started adding the green makes it such that the turquoise will not completely be blended out, but the green will add some more vibrancy to the actual bottom of the painting. Now I'll let this layer dry completely before moving on to the next step. That green on the bottom and that purple in the middle of my background is reminding me of a floral landscape. Of course, my landscapes are usually always more abstract than they are close to realism, but I really love those colors together. And when I'm in my garden, the flowers that excite me the most are usually the purple ones.
and I find that they look so beautiful against that green. So this is what I'm going to try to recreate, but I'm again doing this in a very abstract way. You're not going to be able to recognize any particular flowers or anything like that. And the lines in the on the bottom portion of my painting, the ones that I'm adding right now, they're going to be, for me, reminiscent of grass. And I love the idea of creating this over that texture that's in the background, because grass is not just, you know, one uniform green color. It's got a lot of different other colors that mix in, a little bit of yellow and some darker greens. And so I feel like this is the perfect backdrop for creating some abstract grass. And this is what I'm doing now by simply drawing some very simple vertical lines. Once I was done adding my vertical lines on the bottom, I felt compelled to add some stippling at the very top of that line that you can see. And so this is what I'm working on right now. When I'm working on a little painting like this one, I really make my decisions as I go along. So one decision really leads into the next decision, and that's how my paintings slowly but surely come to life. Stippling is not only easy to do, it's also a really simple way to add contrast to a painting. As you can see here, just having added those little tiny dots at the lines that I had drawn really make them stand out more. I really like how the addition of the black is making all of the other colors more vibrant, and it makes them pop more. So I'm going to keep working with my black ink for a little while longer. Another color that goes really well with purple and turquoise and green actually is this beautiful star gold. This iridescent watercolor paint by Kremer Pigmente is so appropriately named, and every single time I work on painting a sun, the first color I feel drawn to picking is that star gold. This gold looks really beautiful when applied next to or on top of purple, but it also looks really nice when it's added on top of the green, like here. That green and turquoise texture looked nice on its own, but just adding a little bit of this star gold is really going to make this section even more interesting. Now look at how cool it looks when it's added on top of the purple. While I let the paint I just applied dry, I'll start adding some more details to my sun using my fine tip black pen. I've decided that I'm going to include some abstract lines representing rain. And so I've drawn a horizontal line right about at the center of my sun. And now I'm going to start drawing some vertical lines using my ink. Once I'm done drawing in the vertical lines using my pen, I'll let the ink dry for a little bit and then I'll erase the horizontal pencil line that I had drawn in as a guide. I want to have some abstract flowers in my painting. I don't want them to look exactly like flowers. I want the colors from the background of my painting to show through them. So I've decided to create some rings that I'm now painting with some white gouache. And these are going to be my abstract flowers. So again, as you can see, they don't look anything like flowers, but they're just going to be a sort of visual representation of flowers. So I started painting these white little rings to represent my abstract flowers, and as I was painting them, my gut was like, oh, why did I do that? It just, I don't know, it just wasn't really speaking to me. But I'm gonna keep painting them because there's a reason I decided to do it in the first place, and I know that it does create some really nice contrast in my painting. So I'm gonna stick with it for now and see how I can modify it to make it something that pleases my eyes more. With all that white now created in the middle section of my painting, I felt that I needed to add some more of that white in the bottom portion of my painting to add more balance to the artwork. At this point, I'm not 100% sure what to do with my white rings yet. So I'm going to leave it be for now, and I'm going to start working on adding some stippling to the interior of my sun because I think it will add some nice contrast in my painting, and I feel like this will make it look very nice. While I was working on the black stippling, it dawned on me that I could also create stippling using my white pen, and that this might transform those little white rings that I'm not so fond of into something that I like a lot better. And as I'm working, I'm already feeling like this is the right way to go. I'm now much happier with my little abstract flowers, and I'm ready to call this painting done. Still shots just never really do that gold justice, so I always like to show you how it glimmers when you move it in the light. This was a fun little painting to create for you, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you again for making the time to join me on this journey. I hope you have a wonderful week and happy creating!